Hey everybody, today is August 1st, 2023, and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin. We just had a monthly close for the month of July, and I want to talk about where I think Bitcoin is headed for the month of August. Before we begin, please read the disclaimer. You can pause the video as you read it. Okay, so Bitcoin just closed the monthly candle, and just a linear chart. You can see that this isn't the most bullish closing, right? Basically, we went a lot higher, and then we basically closed near the lows of this month. So this usually isn't a good sign, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? We've had this spectacular rally since the beginning of this year, right? 4 consecutive green candles in a row, and the fact that we're basically been consolidating. We're sort of like making this staircase pattern. Let me actually bring up the weekly chart here. We sort of in this staircase pattern, right, where we're trying to move higher, where we have these impulse moves higher followed by consolidation. But as long as we're staying above the 200-week moving average, I think that is one of the most important things to look for, because Bitcoin historically, when it stays above the 200-week moving average, it's usually very bullish, right? So it's taking quite a while to load. But yeah, you can see that in 2019 and 2020, we did move down a little below in 2020, but we were able to hold that level, right? And yeah, going all the way back to like 2015, right? When we held this level on the 200-week moving average, we had this spectacular rally, right? And most recently, we actually fell below the 200-week, but we reclaimed it. So the fact that we are spending time trying to turn this into support, like confirm it as support, is not really too surprising. But the fact that we're going a lot slower also shows to me that we're probably not going to follow a similar trend as we saw in 2019, where we had a sprint consolidation and another sprint, right? We're probably going to see something that's more like 2016 to 2017, where we have like I just said, like a stair step price action, where we have an impulse move up, kind of moves sideways bleeding, and then another move up bleeding, and it basically becomes more and more parabolic, right? But it's not like a sprint higher, consolidate, and another sprint higher. So I think we're going to see something similar to that 2016, 2017, right? And I actually talked about this on my Twitter page. And please follow me if you haven't, EddieLux_. I try to post once a week. So basically, I talked about, this is my post last week, July 27th, right? I talked about how Bitcoin price action now resembles the 2016 to 2017 bull market, right? Slow and steady, will history repeat? So what I did was I took these white rectangle, I basically put it around where I thought the price action looked very similar, right? We had the bear market low here, same thing, bear market low here, and then we had impulse move up, and then sort of like a sideways consolidation. So impulse move up and a sideways consolidation. So this is in early 2016. This is right now 2023, right? So I said, if we follow similar price action, it's possible we could see something similar, where we just have this nice parabolic rise into the next bear market, right? Sorry, the next bull market. Definitely don't want to see another bear market. If we follow the 4-year cycle, then in theory, the next bull market should peak sometime in late 2025, right? And if we follow this sort of price action, that should give us a lot higher price at the peak than we saw sometime in the last bull market cycle. And a lot of people say, oh, diminishing returns every cycle, right? But look, if everybody believes that, then maybe that's being priced in, right? Maybe we could go a lot higher than people expect. Who knows, right? But anyways, that's looking a little too far ahead, but let's look in the short term, right? In the short term, it does seem like we might pull back a little bit to retest the 200-week moving average, right? The 200-week moving average is at $27,000, right? Sorry, $27,000 right now. So I could see the month of August being another month where we just sort of pull back a little bit. So let me just get this. Yeah, so we had this close right here. This is not a good look for the close, but we could see the price come down a little bit. And even on the monthly chart, we see the support level at 26,000, right? So it's possible that we can come down and test this on the monthly chart as well, right? But anyway, the point is, I think that if Bitcoin is able to rise, if this is the start of the next bull market, and we have a more steady rise, right? I think that if we have something similar to 2016 and 2018, where it is a slower, and it slowly becomes a slower rise that slowly becomes more parabolic, right? I think that we can actually see higher highs than we saw in the last bull market, and I think that's also it's a healthier way for the market to rise. So I do think that the probability of the market pulling back Bitcoin having another red monthly candle is a lot higher than having a green. Now, of course, I could be wrong, and I'll definitely update y'all on the price as on the price action as it develops going forward, because it could definitely move up, right? But part of the reason why I think this is also the part of the reason why I think that Bitcoin is likely to pull back is also that the price of Bitcoin follows the stock market, right? And the stock market looks like it's about to pull back. Right? If you look at the S&P 500, like we've had 5 consecutive green monthly candles in a row. So I talked about this in another video, which is also on this channel. You can check it out. It's my August analysis video for the stock market. And I basically said that based on different factors from the price action, the fact that we have 5 consecutive green monthly candles in a row, the fact that the sentiment is extreme greed, right? The fact that the Fed just raised the Fed just raised interest rates by another 25 basis point. I think that all these factors are going to lead the market into a red month in August, right? I mean, even look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq 100, QQQ. This is up another 5 consecutive. This is also up 5 consecutive green monthly candles. And look at the rate of this ascension. It's very steep compared to these much more sustainable, right? The sustainable rallies. Like it's very steep, just like we saw sort of like in the bounce off the COVID lows, right? And we saw 2 red months here, right, before it went up higher. So I believe that the stock market is going to pull back in August and perhaps even September. And if that were to happen, I think that could also put a drag on the price of Bitcoin, and perhaps we can go down a little lower. But the point is that, if you watch my stock market video, I said that we might have a correction, but it's not going to like necessarily crash, right? We're still going to hold critical support and still be in a long-term uptrend that we had starting out earlier this year. And I think that Bitcoin, if it were to come down, we might see the price get dragged down to, at worst, I would say this moving average, the 200-day moving average. We're now on the daily chart. So we might fall back within this range, but as long as we hold, we don't break below the previous low right here. We touch this blue 200-day moving average. We're probably going to touch it again and move up higher. I think we'll be good. And again, I do suspect that we are following something similar to 2016, 2017, where we basically consolidate for a while and just make the next impulse move higher, and just take some time to consolidate again before moving up higher. So I think this is going to be a slower bull market that slowly becomes parabolic as we reach 2024 and 2025, right? And of course, the 4-year cycle says that we'll probably peak in late 2025. So it's still plenty of time for this market to move, and also to accumulate as well. And another reason why you can see 30,000 has been strong resistance is that this was previously support in our last bull market, right? Then we broke that support level in early 2022, right? And then so now we are trying to turn this resistance into support now, right? So that's going to be a lot of resistance. There's a lot of sellers right now, and also the 200-week moving average we broke below, and we've basically stayed below the 200-week moving average for the longest time in the history of Bitcoin price action, right? And so right now we're above the 200-week, but the fact that we were stayed below for so long, I think the market also wants to come down and retest the 200-week, which is right now around 27,000. So I could see Bitcoin coming down to low 28, maybe like mid to high 27,000 in the month of August to even September, with the stock market, with the price of Bitcoin. Excuse me. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, as long as we hold these support level, like the 200-week. We hold 200-week, we hold 25, 26,000, right? We don't want to break below and make lower lows, right? Because right now, we have higher lows and higher highs, right? Just barely higher highs, right? So we don't want to make lower lows by coming down below the previous swing low, right? But at the same time, if we are able to hold this could be another good buying opportunity, right? That's what I'm looking for. Again, this is just my own analysis. You got to do your own research, do your own due diligence, right? This is not financial advice. Let's look at the dollar. Right, Bitcoin is usually inversely proportional to dollar. Dollar is having a nice bounce now. The fact that we dropped so much actually helped Bitcoin over the last few weeks, but now that we're pushing up higher, we had a nice bounce off the lows. That's putting a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin as well as other things like gold, right? But we're here to talk about Bitcoin. So let's focus on Bitcoin. So it's taking a while to load. But as it loads, let's look at other data that we have. Right, the hash rate is going still steady, been sort of consolidating for a while, but we're still overall, making, we're basically going to all-time highs. Even as the price of Bitcoin has not reached the previous highs, the fact that the hash rate still continues to go up higher is a good thing, right? That's what we want to see. Fear and greed index is in neutral right now, so still a lot of room to the downside before we get oversold on the sentiment, indicators, right? Again, more probability that we still have some more downside pressure, right? However, good news is that if we look at the bigger picture, like I said, right, in the bigger picture, this could be a good thing, right? In the bigger picture, if the price action we're seeing right now is similar to 2016, we're basically in the beginnings of a bull run that could last until late 2025. This huge run. So, I know I'm saying a lot of bearish things for the month of August and maybe even September, but I just want to make clear that I'm a long-term bull, okay? And I do think that this could possibly be a good time, perhaps, to accumulate if you have some extra funds on the side, right? And of course, again, just want to say, not financial advice. It's just what I'm thinking based on what I'm planning on doing with my own stack, right? Again, back to the 2-year multiplier. When we're below the green line, when we're in the green zone, this generally is a good time to buy, right? This is 2015, right? Under the green zone for almost a year. 2019, and of course the COVID crash 2020. These periods of time don't last a long time generally, at least compared to when we're above it, right? However, this time we're actually been below. For the longest time in Bitcoin's price history, we've been below the green line. So this could be a good time to perhaps accumulate. This chart tells us the best time to accumulate is below the green line and to sell when it gets close to or above this orange/red line, right? So yeah, even though we might have a pullback, this could be a good time to perhaps accumulate, right? Pi cycle top indicator does a good job of climbing the top or near the top, but also does a good job telling you where the bottom might be. The bottom is usually below the orange line, but once we are able to reclaim and go above the orange line and hold it as support, you see how every time the price of Bitcoin came back down to test this orange line, it held, right? So that's usually a sign that Bitcoin is in a bull market. Right now, we are coming down to retest that line again, right? We held, went down below, came back up, the regional bank crisis in March, we held. Most recently, we went below, but we came back up and held again. So it looks like we might come down again, but as long as we hold, right? As long as we hold this orange line and go up higher, we might see, let me just reset that, we might see the price of Bitcoin continue up higher, right? And we're also starting to see how, look at these bands are trying to tighten, right? Whenever we see tightening, we tend to see Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, kind of like stay within that zone, right? And eventually, as it continues high, it breaks out of those bands and it comes up higher, right? And begins its parabolic run higher. So based on this, it does seem like we're somewhere like around this area or like this area of the cycle, right? If we are to, like I said, if we are following 2016, 2017, like I think we are, we're something more like around this area, right? Where we're getting close, we're hugging the bottom of this band, which is the orange band, right? Somewhere, so we're probably in somewhere of like March 2016, right? Yeah, and if this is something that's following similar price action as 2016, 2017, look at like how fantastic this next rally is. So anyways, just to summarize, I do think that if I am correct and the stock market comes down for the month of August and September, I do believe that's going to drag Bitcoin down. Even though we've been sideways for this month or last month, I do think that we can continue to at least go sideways, if not go down a little bit more. Again, 200-day moving average is going to be strong support. Of course, I want to see us hold at least 20. I think we might come down to 20,000 in the mid 27,000s, but I definitely don't want us to break below this previous swing low, right, around 25,000, right? If we break down below, we're going to start making lower lows, and that's not good, right? We want to keep this structure, higher lows, higher highs, right? And of course, my thesis that we are following 2016, 2017 pattern, right? And this is a new thread basically on my Twitter page. Please follow me again if you haven't, EddieLux_ on Twitter, or I guess now called X. This is a new thread. I'm gonna keep updating this thread for as long as I can, as long as it continues this pattern. Maybe if this does follow it, maybe I'll continue until, if this is a 4-year cycle, maybe all the way up to 2025. Who knows? It could be a really long thread, right? But yeah, I'll continue until the price action proves me wrong and we're not in this theory anymore. But as long as the thesis is still strong, I'll keep updating on Twitter. And yeah, I'll definitely update you on the videos as well as the price action develops going forward. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you found this video helpful, useful, and informative. Appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.